Hi everyone. Today, let me ask you some questions to you. Children, you have many dreams and desires, isn't it? Actually, what do you want to be? Have you ever thought about it? That whom do you want to be? Yes, I know that. Some of you want to be a doctor or an engineer or a scientist or a teacher or a social worker, etc. and etc. Some of you sometimes may think in different ways, isn't it? Anyway, I think or I hope that some of you may wish to reach into the space. I think there'll be anyone from you who has the desire to be an astronaut. If anyone has the interest to touch the space, children, you first think in your mind that nothing is impossible if you have true dedication for your work. So today we are going to learn about the first space woman of India. So your chapter name is An Indian American Woman in Space, Kalpana Chawla. It's from your textbook, Honeysuckle. So before moving on to the chapter, do you know who reached space first? Who's that? Yuri Gagarin. Who's Yuri Gagarin? He was a Soviet Air Force pilot and cosmonaut. What's the meaning of cosmonaut? He is an astronaut. Astronaut means that a person who is trained to travel in a spacecraft. So Yuri Gagarin was a Soviet Air Force pilot and cosmonaut who became the first human to travel into space in his Vostok 1 spacecraft on 12th April 1961. Then, do you know who went to space first from India? I'll tell you who is that. In 1984, an Indian Air Force pilot, Rakesh Sharma, made history by becoming the first Indian to travel to space. He was a part of Soviet Union's Soyuz 311 expedition, which was launched on April 2nd, 1984. So, who went to space first from India? Yes, he is an Air Force pilot, an Indian Air Force pilot, Rakesh Sharma. Then I told you about the first space woman of India. Who is that? Kalpana Chawla. So, do you know what more about Kalpana Chawla? Kalpana Chawla was an American astronaut of Indian origin. She was the first Indian American astronaut and the first Indian woman to go into space. She first flew on Space Shuttle Columbia as a mission specialist and primary robotic arm operator. She is regarded as a national hero in India. Some of you may have listened the word space shuttle. She first flew on space shuttle. So actually what is a space shuttle? Let me show you. Here you can see in the picture space shuttle. So what is a space shuttle? A space shuttle is a spacecraft. Do you know what is a spacecraft? It's a vehicle used for traveling in space. So what is a spacecraft? It's a vehicle used for traveling in a space. So, a space shuttle is a spacecraft that is made for repeated space travel between Earth and a space station. And this story, an Indian American woman in space, Kalpana Chawla, it's an inspirational story of first India born American astronaut Kalpana Chawla. Through her life, she is really inspiring many Indians, especially girls, to pursue their dreams so as to make their nation and parents proud. So, this is actually an inspirational story for you children. So, let me read the first paragraph. Kalpana Chawla said that she never dreamed as a child in Karnal that she would cross frontiers of space. It was enough that her parents allowed her to attend engineering college after she graduated from Tagore School. So, from the first paragraph, we can understand that Kalpana Chawla was born in Karnal. It's a place in Haryana. So, her birthplace is Karnal. So, what's her birthplace? It is Karnal in Haryana. Here in the first paragraph, she says that as a child, she never dreamed of space travel. And she says that she didn't have such a dream of crossing the frontiers of space. So, actually, what's the meaning of frontiers? You can see below, that is boundary. So, she says that she didn't have such a dream of crossing the boundary of space. So, as a child, she never dreamed of such a flight to space. After taking graduation from Tago School, her parents allowed her means that permitted. So her parents allowed her or gave permission to her to attend engineering college. So here you can see the meanings of frontiers means boundary and allowed permitted. So the points that we can see in the first paragraph, Kalpana Chawla was born in Karnal in Haryana and she never dreamed of space travel. She was graduated from Tagore School and she went to an engineering college. So listen the second paragraph. After a Bachelor of Science degree in Aeronautical Engineering, against great opposition from her father, she went for a master's degree to the United States of America. She later earned PhD in aerospace engineering. Kalpana Chawla was the first American woman astronaut to blast off from the launch pad at Cape Canaveral, Florida, and participate in a successful mission in space. Her family from India cheered along with the staff at the Kennedy Space Center as they watched the Columbia lift off. So, after taking a Bachelor of Science degree in Aeronautical Engineering, she decided to go to US to get a master's degree. But her father was against it and opposed her. But despite her father's opposition, Kalpana went to the United States of America for a master's degree. And you can see she later earned PhD in aerospace engineering. So after that, she did her PhD in aerospace engineering. And Kalpana Chawla was the first Indian American woman astronaut to blast off. Blast off means that to take off from. So she was the first Indian American woman astronaut to take off from the rocket launching site at Cape Canaveral, Florida. And she participated in that successful mission in space. So her family was also there from India. They were also there at Kennedy Space Center. Actually, where is this Kennedy Space Center? It is in Florida in the United States of America. So her family was also there in Florida to encourage. Here you can see her family from India cheered along. So her family from India gave encouragement along with the staff at the Kennedy Space Center as they watched the Columbia lift off, as they watched the Columbia took off. Okay, so they were also there, her family was also there to give encouragement to that group of astronauts. So here you can see the meaning of astronaut. It's a person trained to travel in a spacecraft. And blast off, lift off, you can see the meaning take off. And cheer means give encouragement. So the main points in this paragraph, you can see she took a Bachelor of Science degree in Aeronautical Engineering. Then after that she went to the United States to take a master's degree. Then she did PhD in Aerospace Engineering. Then, she was the first Indian American woman to fly into space by Space Shuttle Columbia from Kennedy Space Center, Florida. In the third paragraph, Kalpana was born in Karnal, Haryana, but was a naturalized US citizen, married to flight instructor Jan Pierre Harrison. Besides being an astronaut, she was licensed to fly single and multi engine land airplanes, single engine seaplanes, and gliders. She was also a certified flight instructor. After qualifying as a pilot, Kalpana began to consider another challenge, applying to NASA's Space Shuttle program. She was first hired as a research scientist at NASA. In 1994, she was selected by NASA for training as an astronaut. So Kalpana was born in Karnal, Haryana, but was a naturalized US citizen. Why she was called as a naturalized US citizen? Kalpana was born in Karnal in Haryana. So by birth she was a citizen of India. But during her airplane training, she married to an American citizen, Jane Perry Harrison. Jane Pierre Harrison. He was a flight instructor. So, by her marriage to an American citizen, she became a naturalized American. Then, here you can see she was licensed to fly single and multi engine land airplanes, single engine seaplanes, and gliders. So, actually, what is the meaning of gliders? It is a light aircraft which is designed to fly without using an engine. So, apart from being an astronaut, she had the license to fly single and multi engine land airplanes, single engine seaplanes, and gliders. And she was also a certified flight instructor. So, after qualifying as a pilot, Kalpana began to consider another challenge applying to NASA's Space Shuttle program. So, after becoming a pilot, she took another challenge. What is that? She applied to NASA's Space Shuttle program. Do you know what is the full form of NASA? It is National Aeronautics and Space Administration. And what is this? NASA. It is a it is an independent agency of US federal government for space program, aeronautics and space research. So, after qualifying as a pilot, she took an another challenge, that is she applied to NASA's Space Shuttle program. And then she was first hired as a research scientist at NASA. Then in 1994 she was selected by NASA for training as an astronaut. So in first she joined NASA as a research scientist. Then in 1994 she was selected by NASA for training as an astronaut. Then you can say the meaning of gliders. Then what is NASA? That and all you can see here. Then the fourth paragraph. When asked what it was like being a woman in her field, she replied, I really never ever thought while pursuing my studies or doing anything else that I was a woman or a person from a small city or a different country. I pretty much had my dreams like anyone else and I followed them. And people who were around me fortunately always encouraged me and said, if that's what you want to do, carry on. So people asked her about her feelings as being an astronaut. She answered them that she never had a dream of being an astronaut because she thinks that she was a woman and she belonged to a small city and she was not from that country. What is that country? It is US. And she belonged to India and another country. But she had her own dreams and she followed them like any other person. And people who were around me fortunately always encouraged me and said, if that's what you want to do, carry on. So, but she said that fortunately the people around her inspired and motivated her to follow or pursue her dreams. And they encouraged her by saying to carry on what she wanted to do. So you can see the meaning of pursue here, that is follow. Then the main points here. She became a naturalized American citizen after marrying an American flight instructor, Jane Perry Harrison. And she was an astronaut. Apart from that, she had a license to fly single and multi engine land airplanes, single engine seaplanes, and gliders. And she was also a certified flight instructor. And after that, she became a research scientist at NASA. Then she was selected by NASA for training as an astronaut in 1994. Then she said that people around her encouraged her to pursue her dreams. Thank you.